Hello everyone, this is Starry Ari's ASMR. I am Ari, and this is a little bit of a different video. I recently upgraded and replaced a few components in my laptop and had some footage that I figured I could piece into a video. I originally filmed it so that I could know exactly where everything I removed was supposed to go if something went wrong, so there are bits of video missing here and there. I thought some of the sounds were pretty relaxing though, so I'm just going to narrate and explain what I'm doing. First, I had to remove all of the screws on the back cover of my laptop to remove it and expose the internal components. My laptop has some connections from the keyboard panel that I needed to remove before being able to fully pull it apart. Today I will be replacing my battery and adding in an additional RAM stick to my motherboard. I first need to remove the old battery, which had gotten a little swollen with age and definitely needed replacing. Whenever I'm doing projects with little components or screws, I like to use these small containers just to keep everything together. After all the screws are out, I can just lift the battery right out of the case. Here you can see some of that bulging that should definitely not be there. Next, I need to disconnect everything to be able to remove my motherboard and access the memory slots on the back side. Annoyingly, my laptop has this configuration that makes it more difficult to access some components, and having to handle the motherboard scared me the most because I did not want to damage it at all. The ribbon cables came out very easily, but some of the sliding connectors were a little bit more stubborn and I just needed a little extra patience. I did not want to accidentally rip or damage any of the cables, so I just took it really slow. I think these two really small cables are the Wi-Fi antenna cables that just needed to be lifted up off their snaps to be removed. Then I removed all of the screws holding the motherboard in place, but I had turned off the video for most of that. Here I am just counting the screw holes to make sure I had gotten everything. I honestly counted a few times because I wanted to be completely certain. After those were all removed, I very gently worked my motherboard up. This was the part I was the most careful with because, again, I did not want to damage it at all. My fan was also connected to the motherboard on the bottom, and I decided it was going to be easier to just take the whole fan out still attached rather than try and detach the cable very carefully from underneath. And that is everything I need removed from the laptop case so I can access the back of my motherboard. The big metal shielding piece is where the memory slots are located, so I needed to remove the tape holding it down and lift that up. Here you can see one of my memory slots is empty, so I was able to just get one new RAM stick to help my laptop's performance and pop it right on in there. Here I was checking out the grooves to make sure I got the orientation correct. Then it just slides right in and clicks into place. Now it is time to put everything back into place, which definitely took me a bit longer because I wanted to be certain of where everything was meant to go, and again, just being very, very careful. I don't consider myself very technically computer savvy, and I did find video tutorials on pretty much every step of this process, so that made it a lot easier for me. I do also come from a family where my dad and all of my brothers have always built their own computers, so I felt confident that I could at least access and replace some parts on my own. I really liked the sounds of the little screws in the container, and as I was screwing them back into place. My screwdrivers are magnetic, which makes working with really tiny screws a lot easier so they don't accidentally fall or get lost. Once all of the screws were in place, I went around and made sure to tighten any that needed just a little bit of extra tightening. But I didn't want to tighten it too much because I certainly didn't want to accidentally snap the motherboard. then comes the time to reattach everything again. The really small Wi-Fi antenna gave me a little bit of trouble, but I eventually got them. It was very satisfying reattaching everything, especially the ribbon cables with the flip connectors. After those are all reattached, I can put in my new battery, which nicely fits right into its slot on the motherboard. Then I can replace all of the screws that keep the battery in place. You can see that this new battery doesn't have any of that swelling, which is how it should be. These little containers are so great for if I spread out a project across a couple days or even just a few hours and make sure that nothing gets lost or bumped into or knocked over when I'm not working on it. And now I can put the top keyboard piece back on. The keyboard piece is a little tricky to hold just right and be able to get the 3 cables reattached securely. I did originally forget to reconnect the ribbon cable that was on top of the battery, but I realized it before screwing the case back together at the end, so I was able to just quickly do that. I just don't have any footage of it. Lastly, I need to put the case all the way back together. The top keyboard case snaps right back into place. And this container has all of the pieces and screws I need to use to finish securing the case. Which I forgot to press record again before doing. And that is my laptop upgraded and all put back together. I felt pretty proud to do this by myself, and it ended up not being as bad as I thought it would be. I hope you enjoyed this different kind of video, but I thought some of the sounds were pretty nice while I was working on the laptop, and I figured I didn't want to let the footage go to waste if I could use it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.